Lieutenant Belica, the mana-draining, ground-slamming, kill-stealing champion of Agora, or whatever the map is called now. Lieutenant Belica is kitted out to be a mid-lane mage. However, with the right build, Lieutenant Belica can also be an amazing support or even solo lane champion. Honestly, she can even ADC if you really wanted to build her out that way. In this video, I wanted to highlight what her abilities are and what items you should focus on while building her out, starting with her abilities. I'll be explaining her activated abilities from most to least important. This should also be the path you take while leveling up, putting 1 point in each and then leveling up one ability at a time. You should be doing this with most heroes, but Belica more than most. This is due to her passive, Innovation. Lieutenant Belica's abilities gain additional strength at maximum rank. Additionally, she gains 10% maximum mana each time she maxes out an ability. At first glance, her passive is pretty boring, but in reality, it's still pretty boring. But boring can pack quite a punch in this case, especially when paired with items like Azure Core, which based off the maximum mana does more damage. But I'll get into that in a minute. Now, arguably, the most important ability and the one you should focus on first is Belica's big ol' bodacious, bonking, bread and butter bomb ability. And what other else B word you can think of that fits into those slots. Her alternate ability places a bomb that detonates after a short delay, dealing magical damage and restoring mana for each enemy hit. This ability packs quite the punch, and as stated before, this is Belica's bread and butter, her main damage dealing ability and the first ability to be leveled overall. Once max level, Belica's passive changes how the Void Bomb scales, increasing its ability power by 15%, from 65% to 85% extra magical damage, giving Belica an incredibly small but powerful AoE on a very short cooldown, baseline of 6 seconds. Lieutenant Belica's second most important ability, her knockup, her Slim Slam, her can't get away from the gravy train of pain seismic assault. Slam the ground, sending forth a seismic wave that deals magical damage to all enemies in its path, knocking up and stunning them for 1.1 seconds. Once seismic assault is at max rank, Innovation changes the stun from being 1.1 seconds to 1.6. This is as straightforward as they come. Press Q and send Team Rocket blasting off again. This ability is great for groups of enemies, or my preferred use, singling out their carry or damage dealer and getting rid of them in one nice fell swoop by combining the knockup with their bread and butter. You can deal a massive amount of damage with this combo, starting a fight with advantage for your team or ending a fight for those sweet, sweet kill steals. Unless you're playing her as support. Then you probably shouldn't take it from your carry. Unless you want to. Speaking of kill steals, her ultimate ability is the Kill Stealer 9000. Or the Neural Disruptor, whatever you want to call it. This Desert Eagle from hell does a massive amount of damage, increasing by every point of mana that the target is missing, making this one of the best ways to steal securing kills, and creating pesky 1v2s into a 1v1. As with most heroes, her ultimate should always be upgraded as soon as it's available. Belica's passive makes the range jump up by 300, making it into little Tommy's first sniper rifle. Ultimates don't get much more point and click than this one. I mean, it even locks on for you. You can't miss. And the final ability, the Big Suck. Actually, it's more of a little suck. Kinda suck. When thrown out on the field, this little engine that can't will suck the mana juice out of any hero nearby every second for 10 seconds at a rate of 3% per second. That's it. Oh, yeah, it also shoots anyone casting an ability in the area of effect. Just once, though. Just once. This ability pairs well with Belica's ultimate, but remains to be pretty lackluster throughout the game. At max level, Belica's Innovation changes the drone to also drain 4% of the mana when the target is shot, but I feel like this should be part of its base kit. It seems to be overall lackluster mid to late game, and for the mana cost, this ability is rarely useful. It falls under the sort of niche category. The only times I find myself using it to be useful is whenever I'm pushing a target or trying to keep my lane partner as close to 0 mana as possible. I will say, though, it does do a surprising amount of damage when combined with the item Combustion, but that's more of the item rather than the ability. Which, speaking of items, Azure Core, Combustion, Astral Catalyst, Oblivion Crown, Caustica. That's it. Nah, I'm kidding. I want to break it down a little bit to the best of my ability and to my knowledge. This is the order I usually buy in. Feel free to deviate in any way. Other than that, of course, the first buy, which would be Azure Core. Now I know what you're thinking. Is the mana really necessary for Belica? She's got a pretty sustainable mana pool, especially mid and later in game due to her passive, and to that I say, shut up. Do what I want. No, but in reality, it's because her passive that I usually go with this item. With Belica's passive giving her an extra 10% per max out ability, Azure Core's passive really gets that much stronger and can shine that much more. Azure Core, once fully built, gives a passive Arcane Magic. Grants bonus magic power equal to 3% maximum mana, which with the core plus Belica's passive gives an insane boost to magic power that only grows throughout the game. This is a phenomenal number 1 pick, really for any mage, but for Belica more than most. Item 2. Like I said previously, the next few items can be bought in almost any order, but Combustion is an amazing choice for number 2. This really adds to Belica's true strength, which is her burst damage. She excels in bursting down an opponent by blasting all of her abilities at once and bringing an ADC or mage from 100 to 0. And Combustion does just that. With its passive Pyro, your next instance of ability damage will deal bonus magical damage to the target and nearby enemies. This has a 12-second cooldown, which is reduced every time you damage an enemy hero, meaning you can get this off of quite a few times in a team fight. Item 3. Astral Catalyst or Time Warp. Really, this is either or. Time Warp is definitely more of a support, so if you're looking for a bit more CC, or really just want to focus on the knock-up bomb combo, I would go Time Warp. For damage, or the ultimate, I would definitely go Astral Catalyst. Both these items focus on ability reduction, but have a slightly different focus, with Astral focusing on the user's ultimate, while Time Warp focuses on the normal abilities, so it really depends on your playstyle. Either way, Belica is nothing without her abilities. So if you're more focused on kills, I'd go Astral for the 20% cooldown reduction on your ultimate for every elimination, since you really should be only using it for final hits anyways. Or if you're a team player in a MOBA, first of all, proud of you, doesn't happen often, I'd go for the Time Warp. It gives you a 15% reduction on all basic abilities every time one is used, getting you a few more knocks for your ups. God, I'm hilarious. Items 4 and 5. Caustica or Oblivion Crown. Both of these later game items are very powerful, but a bit situational on which one you would go first, or at least which one I would go first. If you were up against a pretty beefy team like a Rampage or a Grux or a Sevarog, I would definitely go Caustica first, which if taken will give you 2 passives, which are Magus, while above 50% maximum mana, gain 20% magical penetration, and Arcane Resolve, while below 50% maximum mana, gain 1% mana regen per second. If you aren't going against beefier teams, I would go Oblivion Crown first, to really capitalize on your burst abilities. This is due to a fairly recent update to Oblivion Crown's passive, which is Oblivion. Your next instance of ability damage against an enemy hero will deal an additional 8% of their current health as magic damage, and increase their magical damage taken by 10% for 3 seconds on a 30-second cooldown. And Annihilate, which just increases your magical power by 15%. Now, you definitely want to go both of these items as soon as you can to be a fully built, just one-hit machine, but I would definitely pick and choose depending on what kind of team you're going up against. Now, to finish up, I do want to say this is all relative. I'm not the best at the game, but this, I think, is a solid starting build for anyone wanting to try out Belica. I personally think she's a bit underrated as a mage right now and needs a bit more loving. Most of these items can be rearranged to fit the situation, but honestly, what do you think? Discuss with me in the comments what you would do differently playing as Belica. I really am not the best at the game, and I'm still definitely figuring things out, so I really would like to hear your feedback and what you guys think of the current build that I've laid out in front of you. And if you've made it this far, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I really do want to get around to making a how-to for all the heroes in the game so far with how I play them, and I really would like to hear your guys' feedback on how you guys go about playing these heroes as well. And join me on stream sometime, link down below. Until next time, have a good one. Bye.